Good morning, everyone. Professor Nupur Prakash, Honorable Vice Chancellor, our Dean, Professor Gopalia, Mr. Vikas Nirula, thank you. So before we begin, we must have the signature good morning for you to start this session here. We must hear the Hanji on mic before we go any further.
This has become a joke now. Good morning, Vice Chancellor. Thank you for having me here. And thank you very much to the faculty. Thank you, Chirag. Thanks very much. And I welcome all of you. And I'll only say one thing. Hanji. And then you can say, Maza aa gaya. Let's hear you say it. Maza aa gaya. Very good.
Thank you, sir. For those who don't know or don't know much, Mr. Rocky Mohan is known by various names. A man, a legend himself, is the family behind the world's largest selling rum, which is Old Monk, loved by many generations, including your fathers, perhaps your grandfathers, my grandfather, my father as well, and I'm sure the legacy will continue. Sir is also a very authoritative culinary expert. He's authored various books. He's worked very closely with celebrity master chefs. And in our conversation with him just last week, he said, Chirag, one thing you must bring out in your session is how at 70, I am now reinventing myself and still wanting to keep myself ahead of times. And I said, sir, that definitely is one message we must take across to our students. But before we begin, sir, perhaps we start with a little history. You have, of course, upon your shoulders a big responsibility. Your family is linked to the world's most loved drink, including in India. How do you ensure that you continue this legacy, given the fact that Old Monk, my friends, has never had to advertise? Old Monk has never had to advertise in India or around the world. It still, across decades, has continued to be number one. Sir.
Big question. Well, I could start at the very beginning by telling you that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's a rule we have played by. But I'll relate a very small, interesting episode. So when the foreign brands started coming to India in the early 80s, we decided that it may be time for us to start advertising Old Monk. So we called in a very big consultancy organization, and you know how consultants are. We conducted a survey. They went right across the country. They took 6 months to do, and they came back with a result. And the result will astound you. They came back with a result of saying that we do not know who your TG is. TG means obviously your target audience, your target group. They could not find the target group. And this is very interesting, why they couldn't find it. Because the Old Monk is produced in 3 sizes. So we have the small 125 ml, then we have the half bottle, which is 375 ml, and then we have the full bottle, which is 750 ml. So the distinction was that the truck driver, the chauffeur, the normal laborer would drink the quarter. The man who was slightly more aspirational or had made a little more money, he started drinking the half. And his boss kept the full bottle in his bar. So who is the audience? So we, having studied that, decided that we'd be far better off not talking to anybody, because we don't really know who our client is and who our consumer is. So sometimes you have to learn this from somebody else coming to tell you that, listen, don't waste your money, just stay where you are. And all thanks to the youth of this country, we've become a cult brand. And I call it a cult brand because it's a brand which is not advertised but still is favored above all else. So that, I think, Chirag, is the background to this.
Absolutely, sir. And I remember visiting Mohan, the plant, I think perhaps 10 years ago. And we could still see, so I visited the factory, the plant where Old Monk was bottled. From my memory, I think we easily saw 300, 400 trucks. It's a whole city. So Mohan Nagar in Ghaziabad is perhaps, or am I right there, is the biggest facility. However, you started from Himachal, Solan.
So interestingly, nobody really knows this, but Old Monk was first produced in a city called Lucknow. It wasn't produced in Himachal, it wasn't produced in Mohan, it was produced in Lucknow. And I don't know why Lucknow, but that is where it happened in 1954. So it's a long time ago.
How did it, indeed, sir, and how about distribution? Because even if it was Lucknow or Himachal, Old Monk is used across the country. Tell us about distribution. And
So
how-
initially, Chirag, we used to distribute the product through vehicular trucks. We used to send our trucks out, then we started transporting through train. But as time moved on, and excise is a very draconian law of this country, it is something that I can sell at 10 rupees in my factory. You probably are paying 150 rupees for that, is because of the number of taxes that are imposed on that. So excise had a rule in this country where they would have multiple excise duties from state to state. And that led to a lot of trouble. So ultimately we had to take a decision of transporting the finished product in bulk from our central manufacturing units to our different manufacturing units across the country, which now are, at last count, should be about 26 of them, where we bottle the product locally. So if you were to pick up a bottle of Old Monk here in Gurgaon, it will show it is bottled within Haryana.
Yes.
This is for the purposes of excise duty and just try and save some duty and make the product more available to you.
Sir, on that note, how easy or how difficult has it been to operate in India, to operate and build a business in India, especially the product in your case, alcohol?
Well, you know, we're a post-partition company, so we were very dedicated in becoming, contributors to the benefit of the country. We weren't critical of it. I remember my grandfather used to run a challenge every year that who would be the highest taxpayer in the country. And I used to remember, year after year, he used to make it a point to be the highest taxpayer in the country. So we are that generation of people who moved to this country from across the border now, and we set up life over here. So really, as a matter of fact, we have confronted all the problems that you can possibly have in dealing in a complex environment like this. India, as far as alcohol is concerned, is a very, very complex environment. I can't even get started to tell you where it starts from.
So for the benefit of students here, and tell us about scale. When we say Old Monk is the largest selling, how large is this number? How large is large?
Well, last year we closed our year at 12 million cases.
12 million
12
cases.
million, that's 1.2 crore cases of 9-liter bottles. So you can do your math yourself.
So generations and the world lovingly continues to drink. And of course, it's only going wider. I remember I used to work with Virgin Atlantic very early years. We had expats and foreigners who would come to India and take a bottle back with them. The love was so much.
Yeah, so it's a very big selling product in the duty free and taken back as gifts and things like that. It's a very highly recognized brand of the country. Good fortune.
It's an emotion. What we hear is saying
Yes,
Old Monk is an
correct.
emotion.
I think most youngsters can empathize with it.
So, but why no flavors? Why no different variants across the years? Why no experimentation? You stuck to the core product.
So, Chirag, sorry to correct you. There are variants.
Coffee now.
No. We have Old Monk Legend,
Of course, sir. But
which is the head of the Old
Yes,
Monk itself.
yes.
Then we have Premium, which is the bottle itself, which is
Okay.
the monk itself. Then we have the regular Old Monk.
okay,
Then we have Old Monk White.
got
And
it.
now we have Old Monk Coffee.
Correct.
And we also have an Old Monk Amber.
Got it, sir. So 7 different variants of.
Yeah, but the fact is, I'll be honest with you, these variants are only for a very select market because predominantly the one that sells is the stubby, the small bottle.
Yes. So tell us, and we'll take this conversation a little away from business. As a person, how was your own upbringing? How was growing up being the Scion or the family that owned Old Monk. You've had, if correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but a very privileged life, so to say. How was growing up for yourself?
Well, we just fell into the way of life that was given to us by our parents and grandparents. We did not think too much about it. I mean, we did regular schooling, we did college like you guys did. I think everything was kept very normal. There was nothing abnormal happening in the family. And I think because we were immigrants and had to start from scratch, you have tremendous value for things of upbringing, where you keep yourself grounded. You don't fly. You
Very
don't
important, sir.
don't
Yes.
do anything that makes you feel that you are wanting to be shown as different from somebody else. So I think that was a good learning.
Absolutely,
And then we went to regular schools. I am a product of a school up in Himachal Pradesh.
Bishop Cotton, sir, where?
Sanat. I
Sanat.
was at the Lawrence
Of
School,
course.
Sanat.
Okay.
The reason I was there is because my grandfather used to live in Solent.
Yes.
So he said the closest school is this, so he'll study here. While my sisters studied in Lucknow.
Okay.
So very normal upbringing, though nothing exceptional. Just very simple, as we are today, as simple as ever.
Of course, sir. Of course, thank you for coming again. In fact, I must tell the students this story. My introduction with Mr. Mohan happened in 2018. How did the introduction happen? I used to work with a company called ATB, Air Travel Bureau. It was a travel company. The office is on the Golf Course Road in this building called Global Foyer. So every day in the parking when I would go, there's this beautiful, extravagant, golden Audi A8L. And every day that chauffeur would come, drive the car in, gentleman would get off, take the lift and go up. Out of curiosity, I asked the guard one day, I said, भैया, ये साहब हैं कौन जो इतनी बड़ी गाड़ी में आते हैं? बड़े स्टाइल से आते हैं, and of course, Mr. Mohan has his own very signature style that he always supports. So he said, sir, ये Old Monk वाले हैं, ये Mr. Mohan है, आपने मोहन नगर सुना है? हमने कहा हाँ जी. कहते हैं ये Mr. Mohan है. तो उस दिन समझ आया that this was the man, and then I wrote an email to him, and very sweetly, sir reverted, and that's actually how we made acquaintance in 2018, 2019. Since that time, I've reached out to sir on 2 different occasions, and the sweetest man, he's actually honored my request both those times. And this is the 3rd time, sir, we have you with us today.
Anything connected with this youth. मुझे आप लोगों से मिलना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. मुझे यूथ के साथ मिलने को बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बिकॉज यू आर द फ्यूचर ऑफ द कंट्री, यू आर द फ्यूचर ऑफ एवरीथिंग दैट वी हैव. तो आप लोगों को मिलके बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है मुझे.
सर, एक सवाल आगे जाने से पहले, जब हमने कहा वी हैड मिस्टर मोहन कमिंग एंड दिस इज अ यूनिवर्सिटी, there is always a counter argument to everything, and of course the best argument wins. And today all brands are of course promoting responsible drinking, and it's very important for you today here, sir, to address this audience on the element of responsible drinking, enjoying, but of course responsible drinking. Over the years you must have had a lot of waves coming in from the government, from the society, from the youth, from the medical fraternity. How have you addressed this challenge?
I'll give you one simple example. We never preached. We left it on the intelligentsia of the consumer as to decide how you want to consume, how often do you want to consume. I mean, I started drinking because I was in the family. I started drinking. I used to be a smoker. One day I got angry with my smoking. I gave it up. And one day I decided I don't want to drink anymore. I gave up drinking. I think, it's a very personal thing.
How long has it been, sir, since now that you haven't had a drink?
Well, I haven't had a drink now for about, 10, 12 years? And I haven't smoked for the last 30 years.
Wow.
So happy not to smoke, happy not to drink. But I'll tell you one thing, remember this call of stopping something or starting something must come from within. Don't let anybody preach you. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. You must make up your mind, and once you make up your mind, you will find it so much easier, because then it does not create any rebellion in you. It gives you a chance to understand why you don't want to drink or why you don't want to smoke or indulge. But the one thing I will preach you never do is please stay away from drugs. They are murder. I have a very, very dear friend who unfortunately became an addict, and you all know him very well. He became an addict, and that addiction cost him a very heavy penalty. He had to serve a jail term. He had to go to rehabilitation in Switzerland. His marriage broke up, and it's quite a mess. I won't name the person, but he's a celebrity from Bollywood, and I think you will understand who I'm talking about. He went through hell because of drugs. So remember that it's a very, very, drugs are terrible. You must stay away from it. And the further away you are, the better you'll be. Plus, it's a very expensive hobby to keep.
Yes, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that. So the shift to culinary today, what the youth, what our students see you or look at you as is, of course, more on the culinary side. You've written so many books yourself. You've mastered the art of cuisine. How did this start? Which is your favorite cuisine? And of course, how you're now taking the route through Instagram to do what you do. How exciting is this journey been?
So, you know, I belong to a earthy Punjabi family. My roots are Rawalpindi, Lahore, Amritsar, and then Lucknow. So as far as I'm concerned, food is a normal progression in my life. We ate well from day one. My father, very interestingly, this would be something you girls here would be very interested to know, that there is no woman in my house who cooks. There is only men who cook.
Wow.
We have no women in the kitchen.
Is this, sir, routine everyday cooking? Or is this cooking for occasions and
Routine
celebrations?
everyday cooking is not done by any women in our house. My grandmother never cooked, my mother never cooked, my wife doesn't cook, my daughter-in-laws don't cook. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all the men who cook, and we all have an assistant in the kitchen who does that work for us. And we take pride in this fact because we've helped women to come out of the kitchen.
Yes.
Because they're invariably thrown in there, which I think is absolutely wrong. So to answer your question, it's a legacy. Belonging to kind of family I am, food played a very important role. And I think that is where the love for food came to be.
How many books, sir? How many books have you
Well,
authored?
I've completed 4. I've finished my 5th, which will be published this year, I think in December or early January.
Which of these would be your, of course they're all yours, but your most favorite piece of work? In which book have you put most effort or heart or research?
So Chirag, I'll take 5 minutes of your time to explain this beautiful story. 1989, when the separation movement started up in Jammu and Kashmir, and I'm talking specifically of Kashmir, a very dear friend of mine, the son of the Chief Minister, Mr. Rafiq Sadiq, called me up and told me that his family cook, Vaza, which is called the Vaza, was being relocated to Delhi, and I should help him to settle down in Delhi. So in '89, I decided that, all right, I will introduce him to the social melee of Delhi to give him a foothold so he can make some money here in Delhi. So we gave him that opportunity and things carried on. And that particular Vaza with his 3 sons, his wife, his aunt, and one more person came down to Delhi from Srinagar, and they set up an operation here in Delhi. My dealing with him was very close. He used to come and see me ever so often. Till one day I told him, I said, Ahad Miya, why can't you let me document your Vazwan? So his reaction to me was unbelievable. He turned around and looked at me and said, are you mad? this is a family heritage, I can't give it away to you. I said, all right, if you don't want to give it away to me, let me document it. He said, no, I can't let you because the other Vazas up in Srinagar would kill me because I'm giving away a wealth which is not given away. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I kept pleading. He kept saying no, I kept pleading. He kept saying no. And this went on for about 3-4 years. But I think he was a very sick man. He was unfortunately not too well. And one day he called me to his house and he says, you know, Mohan Saab, मैं समझता हूँ कि ये आप काम कर ही लो. तो मैंने कहा क्यों आप देंगे मुझे अपनी ये हुनर, अपना वेल्थ? कहते हैं हाँ बिल्कुल दूंगा, पर इसमें एक कंडीशन है. मैंने कहा क्या कंडीशन है? तो कहते हैं आपको, अब वासवान में अगर आपको पता हो, there are only 36 dishes in that whole feast. वो 36 dishes हैं. तो कहते हैं जी आप 36 की 36 dishes खुद बनाएंगे और जब तक आप उनको सही नहीं पका लेंगे मैं आपको लिखने नहीं दूंगा. आप बिलीव करोगे मुझे 5.5 साल लगे ये काम पूरा करने के लिए. But fortunately in 5.5 years I completed that research. He approved it and we printed and published Vazwan as the only book in the world that's ever been written on Kashmiri Vazwan cuisine. Wow. Only book.
So we still love the food. Ahad Sons in Delhi, we've gone there a couple of times to pick up food ourselves. For those here who don't know, and if there is an interest in Kashmiri cuisine, definitely do try Ahad Sons. I don't think there's anybody in Delhi who does it better.
Yeah, he's very good. He is very, very good.
So a lot of our students here are from Haryana. In fact, can we have a show of hands? How many of you here are from Haryana? All of them, sir.
Everybody is from Haryana.
Sir, anything exciting you may want to tell us about cuisine from this belt?
You know, Haryana is, you may call it Haryana today, but Haryana was erstwhile Punjab. You know, if you look at the original map of India, Haryana is part of Punjab. So the influence and the kind of food that is eaten in Haryana is very atypical stretch of the original Punjabi concept of food. Haryanvis are very proud people. I'm not saying they're not, but the cuisine is not that million miles away from what we know in other parts of the country and in Punjab. So the influence, you can see a lot of Himachal influence, you can see a lot of Punjab influence, and you don't get any influence of Delhi, but you do get. And because it's an agrarian society, you will find that their food is simple,
yes,
very flavorful,
yes,
but simple, based on the product that comes from the land.
Absolutely, sir. I think doodh dahi ghee is
That's right.
something we
So
can...
very similar to what you get in Punjab.
Yes, absolutely. I think that definitely brings it closer. Sir, your take on Old Monk now into the next generation in terms of maintaining the brand, in terms of expanding it further?
Like I said, Chirag, there is really very little applied in terms of wanting to change the product. The product we keep true to itself. We try not to tinker with it. We don't try and change it. And I think that is the whole ethos behind it, that don't change it. Don't do anything with it. It's very easy to change with the generations, but I think there is value even in an empty bottle of Old Monk,
yes,
because you'll see it sitting on a mantelpiece with a money plant growing out.
Absolutely.
So I think there is value to that. People love the way it is. People love what it is. And I think there is a familiarity that we all live with. So tomorrow if we were to change the bottle, I don't think it will do anything good to the brand. I think we should leave it as it is. I think there's a lot of value in keeping it as it is. So the future, as far as the product is concerned, is not going to be tinkered with, at least not for the next 2 generations.
Sure, sir. So the future is in good hands. Sir, tell us about Chef Pin. Very brief introduction. Sir also started this business how many years ago now? Perhaps 5 years? 4 years ago. And from how I'd like to address it, I think he deinstitutionalized good food. We all know of restaurants and hotels for great cuisine, right? We always used to go to restaurants and hotels for great cuisine. Sir actually developed a network of home chefs, men and women, who excel in a certain cuisine. And he now hosts events, curates events, and has massive participation. And these are very specialized cuisine and event. But before that, sir, tell us about the community. How strong is Chef Pin today?
So let me take you back slightly. This was when COVID hit. We all got locked up. And we started seeing on social media a lot of ladies at home were cooking one-off dishes. So an idea struck me. I said, listen, I mean, why can't we put them under an umbrella and make it worth their while to try and do some business and make some money out of their talent? So that is how Chef Pin was born. And then we made an app which is called Chef Pin, on which at this point of time there are about 3,500 home chefs registered from across the country. It's not only Delhi, NCR, but it's all over the country. So basically it is to bring that food from people's homes to your table. The whole idea is to try and preserve the heritage of the cuisine of the country. And as you know, every home has a different flavor. Every home has a different taste. Every home has a different way of cooking. I mean, no two homes will make the same rajma the same way. We all turn around and say, this is not as good as what I ate elsewhere. So these home chefs help me, and I help them in getting recognition, getting business, and also making money. The idea being that this will preserve the legacy of the lesser known cuisines that we have in the country right across. And that is what Chef Pin does.
Absolutely,
and it's
sir.
quite successful, I must say.
Absolutely, sir. I think this whole community itself is so strong and everybody gets to learn from each other.
Correct, absolutely.
They all push themselves forward, and I've seen so much out on social media from the
We
community.
carry them across the country from one hotel to the next, getting them exposed to the very high commercial end of the business as well. So these are grannies, these are people who are coming from homes, who go out and they can cook. They cook
And
here
they're cooking in 5-star hotels.
Yes, at Feston, they do it at the Shangri-La, they do it at the Trident in Hyderabad, they do it at the Hyatt Centric.
So you've really created a platform for
Yeah.
them to now showcase their talent.
Absolutely.
And
to regularize them and to see if we can make some sense out of what they can do.
sure.
Because the cuisines of our country are just unbelievable. And going back to your earlier question, my most favorite cuisine is Indian cuisine. You cannot better that in any way. I mean, all this newfangled Japanese, Chinese, Asian, pizza, pasta, doesn't stand a chance in front of what we are capable of
I'd
doing.
agree, sir. खाना खा के भी ऐसा लगता है कि खाना नहीं खाया, हम तब भी wait करते हैं कि खाना आएगा कब. So we must have some questions from our audience here. I'm sure we have some. And what we also did with Mr. Amarnath just last week, the first question we must have from a girl student. And we had the same sequence last week. And then we had one question and then everybody opened up. We had questions about him, how he was restoring legacy. I'm sure we have questions here as well. Mihu, do you want to have the list?
Unless and until
You
I've
can have a
already
question.
told you too much.
Never too much, sir. But Mihu, maybe we can have you start. Use the mic, Mihu. Working.
Hello, sir. I am not a fresher. I'm a third-year student, but I would not like to miss this chance of asking you a question. And my question was apparently, what's your favorite cuisine? But you just answered that. It's Indian. So I think if anybody else has a question.
We were having a conversation, sir, with Tanu. There was a girl student here. One question that came up earlier was, you've done alcohol, you've done cuisine, you've done culture. Why never hospitality? Have you ever thought about perhaps founding a hotel or starting a restaurant why not establish something that continues your legacy of culture, cuisine?
It's a very, very tough job. Um, and I think you need very strong guts to be a restaurateur or a hotelier. It is one of the most difficult professions to follow.
You have the base, sir. You have the know-how.
I
or you
have the
your
base,
own-
but I don't have the appetite to do it. But no, to be honest with you, it's never really crossed my mind. Never thought, because I think there's so much on my plate.
Yes.
And now I'm at that stage of my life where I'm having fun. So I no longer.
I have a question,
Ma'am.
Mr.
Yes,
Rocky
ma'am.
Mohan. First of all, I would like to thank you for visiting our university and for this fireside chat, this opportunity that you gave to us. I want to ask you one thing, that when you select a chef or a cook, someone who's cooking from home, on your platform, on your app, what are the essential conditions? Are there any quality checks or any kind of validation, verification which is done?
Fantastic question, ma'am. I expected that from you. So I'll tell you the process we adopt. Number one, obviously, we check who the chef is. We see what her portfolio has been. Number two, she must have, or he must have, an FSSAI license. Without that, you can't proceed. Next to that, after that, we do a very extensive food tasting round. So the lady or the gentleman is expected to cook food 2, 3, 4 times. And we have representatives right across the country. So whether the person is sitting in Hyderabad or in Bangalore, we have local teams who will take up the tasting. And subsequent to that, once they have received that approval, are they only listed? So we have a method, and then last but not the least, when they start commercially working with us, we keep a very, very close watch on what they are doing. Because we cannot take the chance of sending wrong food or exposing the wrong kind of food to people. So that's the checks and balances that we maintain.
Sir, your thoughts on how this current generation is now taking to food? Are they reactive? Are they only and only driven by what's happening on social media? Is there still an interest to know about legacy cuisine?
Well, you know, social media plays a very extremely important role to this generation and the generation that's coming, because I think a lot of influence with AI is going to come into play. We are probably not yet exposed to the power of AI, but I believe it will happen. It will happen in a few years. You all will take it in your stride. I know there'll be nothing to worry about. But I think the influence is coming by people prodding you in the right direction or the wrong direction. You have to learn to eliminate. So I really can't look in the crystal ball and tell you that this is the way the progression will take place. I think it's all very subjective, where you are, where your future is, and what are your compulsions. So I think that's where the progress is going to take.
Absolutely, sir. Just on the topic of technology, we just heard Google has apparently launched a new tool or a platform, ma'am, where we can give it directions. It combines cuisine or recipes from different states and gives you a solution. So perhaps you'll say, I want to have Kashmiri food, but it should somewhere also have an influence of a curry pata in it. And Google actually now does that for you. Are we not
So,
running
Chirag,
the risk of...
here's my point. Here's my point very clearly. There is a very big distinction between art and science. AI or AI's grandfather can't replicate art. They just can't do it.
Absolutely, sir. We run the risk of...
Science is used, which is what AI will do, is replicate something. You can do it ISO 9000 time and again. You'll keep going, it'll always be the same. I agree with you. But it can't do what you just said, because till you do not taste that. Because my senses of taste are developed by me. AI can't do that. AI is stuck. AI will give you a solution. Whether it will work or not work is something you'll find out later.
Sir,
because there are also incidences of, remember this, where AI lies It basically creates its own answers,
Yes.
which are not true. So be very careful how you use AI, but it's a fun technology to work with.
I also feel, sir, you said art, and completely with you. I think we also run the risk of ruining what we've maintained over generations and years and decades and centuries.
It's already preserved, Chirag. I'm not a doomsday thinker. I think, technology will come, it will happen. I remember when the year 1999 came around, the whole world was putting their hands up that every single computer on the 1st of January 2000 will crash and airplanes will fall from the sky, and what won't happen. Those are all doomsday scenarios. I promise you nothing of the like is going to happen. AI is going to become your tool, it's your servant. It'll work like Google works for you today. Tomorrow it'll be AI that'll work for you.
Absolutely.
But you've got to watch out. Even on Google, when you ask a question, you get 30 answers. Not even one of them may be true. Like I was doing a Wikipedia search on my family, 80% of the answers given there were incorrect. So I mean, what is the value of that? So I think, all these, I think we should trust our own palate, we should trust our own eyes, we should trust our own ears, and stay with that.
Sir, on the topic of trust in food, there is so much now that we're hearing about the ill that we're eating, the pesticide and the chemical, and we're hearing that nothing is pure, even in Haryana for that matter. Our challenge is, वो दूध प्योर है नहीं है हमें नहीं पता, वो पेस्टिसाइड उसमें कितना डला है कितना डला है वो नहीं पता. Your take from your perspective and your stance, saying how do we maintain it? What should the government do? What should the private sector do? What should chefs do?
I think we should not expect the government to do anything. Our governments don't work. If we have the guts to work, we should work. If we have the ability to do something, we should do it. To expect the government to do anything for you, I think, is a tall order. I have seen government in this country for 70 years. I promise you, they do little or nothing. It's all private enterprise. There's always private effort. The government, we have a fallback position. They make laws, they make your life miserable, they will tax you, but they'll never answer you. I mean, your roads, I was driving here, I mean, if you see the approach road, it is abysmal, it's bad. There are more potholes on these roads, and there is no answerability. So what government are we talking about? These governments are there, they're there for a different purpose.
So
They're all very self-serving, they don't serve you.
So tell us in this case, how should our students, the youth, and I'm sure we have many students with families in agriculture. They have farmlands, I'm sure many of us.
I think they
What
should make
be
the
their
effort
approach?
themselves.
If they need to take control, how?
So really think about it, that when I am harvesting my land, if I decide to adulterate my harvest, who is to blame? The person who is adulterating it. So we have to be conscious ourselves that we should not adulterate, we should not do anything wrong. Why should we mix water in our milk?
Yes, or powders, I mean, of 10
Or
kinds
whatever
now.
else. But I mean, every single fruit you see on the road has got oil on it. I mean, you pick that up, it's oily on the outside. Why? It's because they want to make it look shining. But what they don't realize is that oil attracts all the dust from the road, which comes and sits on it. If you look at the shape of our dhabas, I mean, who would want to eat that food? There are flies, there are mosquitoes, there's everything under the sun. But if we don't become demanding ourselves as people,
We shouldn't
nothing will
expect
happen
anything to
around.
get better.
Do not accept substandard product. Don't take it. There's no compulsion on you to take substandard product. None. So we should be firm, we should be strong. Why buy something substandard?
So many people now are also going vegetarian, and that's great. Many of them are also going vegan. We now have so many artificial meats coming up. And again, I'm linking this back to technology. Good or bad? Your take, sir.
So these are changes that will take place in any profession, in any technology led. There will be something new. Our cuisines have traveled through a lots of ups and downs. But the intrinsic remains intact, it doesn't change. These are all fads. I promise you, 2 years from now, the word vegan will be forgotten. I promise you, 2 years from now, all this fancy talk about mock meat will be forgotten. The reason is simple. That is not natural to you. And anything that is not natural to you is not going to work. I mean, the senior people here in this room will know very well that our elders used to always say, only cook and eat what grows around your home.
So you can trust it.
No, not to, the reason is because that environment grows the kind of food that you can best digest. But we are eating all kinds of food around the year, which is not correct.
Which is not correct. Cold storage and whatnot.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, a message from you from two perspectives. One, as evolving young professionals, they will all enter industry in another 3-4 years. Second, we also have many students who may want to be entrepreneurs. And would be lovely to have you answer both of these.
So as far as the career path is concerned, I think most of you who are in the first year of college here have already started and know for a fact what you want to do. Whether you want to be a business executive, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, as Chirag said, or you want to be a pilot, you want to join the army. There are multifarious activities that you can look at, but you must have a very clear vision as to try and achieve what you want to achieve, because there has to be a need from within, a passion from within to want to get there. I wasn't the best student in the world when I started, but as luck would have it, I improved over the years and became better. And then I started focusing. But I knew very well that I'm going to involve myself in a family business. Now, when you don't have a family business, then you have to start applying your mind. So what happened was that I didn't want to get my recognition through the family business. I wanted to create a recognition outside my family business. So what did I do? I became an author. I became a culinary expert. I became a semi-chef. And then, at a very late age, I decided to become a social media butterfly. So, I mean, you can always reinvent yourself at any time in life, but if your fundamentals are correct and you know what you want to do, I personally believe you can achieve that by focusing on your career path. And there is no harm in course correction. If you're going down a particular way and you feel you're uncomfortable, change your course and try and achieve what you want to achieve thereafter. So I think my advice to all of you is keep an open mind and keep changing your path as you go along, but have your objective ultimately clear of where you want to go. Right now, the world is in a very traumatic state. Yeah. There's a lot of difficulties in getting employment in your own country, in the foreign countries, even worse. You're not getting any employment. People are coming back. They're being turned away. So as students, I think honing your skills and becoming experts at it will be imperative for you to make a success of your life. So my suggestion to you is keep an open mind, keep applying your mind, and make sure you adjust as you go along. But do keep AI in mind when you are doing this, because that's going to be the next big thing for you to really face.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mohan. Before Mihu takes over, I can just again say a very big thank you for joining us. Mihu.
What an absolutely unforgettable session this has been. Thank you so much, sir, for taking us beyond recipes and brands into a world where passion meets purpose and tradition find its place on the global stage. A warm thank you to Chirag sir as well for guiding this conversation with such ease and depth. It has been a joy to host this morning's masterclass. Until next time, keep learning, keep experimenting, and never stop adding flavor to whatever you do. This is me, Mihu, signing off.